attribution thing, right? So how do you see this working? So would the AI then know, okay, this was created by Franz, this was created by, I don't know, Charlotta, and then, it would, if it got inspired by you to create that other thing, would it pay you some money? Like,
I mean, honestly, as I'm not a data scientist and I never train an ML model, I mean, like in an abstract word, and I also know like that ML models don't work like one-to-one. It doesn't take like, hey, here's Franz, and here's Charlotta, and here's Alen. Let's create one of those three. But at least in my fantasy, there would be something that the model trains itself, but almost keeps a little bit of and it could be a blockchain based, but some kind of track of where did it get the thing from. And once it creates something, it's almost like a percentage slider of like, it might be like that it's 0.01% influenced by Alen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if Nike decides to build a sneaker with that thing, and they sell it, there might be a micro attribution of 0.01% going to Alen. I mean, like that's a very like hardwired thing, and most likely every machine learning expert would be like, Franz, what are you talking about? But in my fantasy, at least, there would be something more philosophically, and from a human standpoint, that would be desirable, that people get attributed for contributing. The same like how science worked. People in white papers say, nobody's like, oh my God, you stole my white paper. People are like, oh, you used my white paper and you built something on top. Great. But I think we need a model like that.
Have you seen the minor backlash that GitHub's Copilot had? So the GitHub basically created their own AI and just took all the code that everyone was contributing because it was kind of open source in a way, and now they use it to train their model. So there was some backlash from the developers there, but I haven't seen this from the designers yet. So, but this also brings me to, how like 10 years ago, I don't know how long, like 5, I don't know, when we discussed like data is the new oil.
Yeah.
And at that moment, it just felt funny, like, no, it's not. But now you can really see like the companies the companies that have a lot of data, user data. For example, in design space, this could be Dribble. It could also be, Pinterest. It could also be, I don't know, Adobe, Figma, and so on. So they have such a huge advantage at this stage to kind of build out this attribution if you want to build it out.
Agree. But again, I think especially for those companies, and the GitHub like blowout also shows that if you create something that feels like an open platform, similar to Wikipedia and stuff like that, and then you use it and almost like centralize it back, because that's again like coming back with the Web3 philosophy of like, if it's a distributed open system, that is amazing. If then one company against it, like I'm training this, and for this moment I'm almost like owning it and baking it, then I think it will become problematic if there's no kind of tracking back. And that's again, I feel like, isn't that an amazing design brief to work against?
Yes, it is.
Redesigning
it's really hard.
Redesigning or reimagining originality and attribution. Another one will be like redesigning truth. This idea of like, it has never been easier to create deepfake pictures, videos, texts, and honestly, the internet will be flooded with more fake, mediocre content, because it's just like, you give the tool to people, nobody can blame them that they use it. Now already, I mean, LinkedIn is close to unusable because everybody just puts like a very mediocre mid-journey rendering up there, and I'm like, can somebody like contribute something meaningful? Because I don't need to see another Nike sneaker rendered in corals under the sea with a dragon on top. It's just like,